Good morning, students. Welcome to
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Miss.
morning, Miss.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, all.
Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan al-Kareem for everyone, inshallah.
Happy Ramadan.
For all. Okay. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome. Today, inshallah, we will be taking or dealing with Chapter 8, A Young Blind Whiz. Today, we're stepping out of the usual or our typical routine, and we're going to be doing live readings, and then we're going to quickly go through the summary, which is a piece of cake for you guys by now. And then we're going to be taking some supplementary topic, and that's learning how to write a book review. So hopefully all goes well, and we can accomplish that in time. Today's chapter is entitled A Young Blind Whiz. Okay? We're going to look at talents and abilities, or how disabilities can sometimes turn into abilities or something really cool. So I think this is a good lesson for all of us today. We're going to also look at pronoun references and how to identify them, and why are pronoun references used. Also, we're going to look at understanding compound nouns, and I think this is something you will probably most of you have heard of before. Okay, there's a difference between simple compound and complex, and today we're going to look at compound nouns. Okay, so there is a small quote at the beginning before we start. Mustafa, would you like to read the quote for us?
For sure. The same person cannot be skilled in everything. Each has his special excellence.
Wonderful, Mustafa. So I guess that means that we all have flaws, and that I guess sometimes these flaws could be what makes us stand out, and these could be what makes us special in this world. Okay, wonderful, Mustafa. I don't know, everyone's got their hands up. Why? You guys want to read? Is that why? Okay.
Yeah, for the reading.
Yes, for reading.
Okay, I'm sure everyone's excited. Okay, so I won't keep you guys waiting. Let's move on. Okay, before you read, this is something we're going to look at quickly. So connect with the topic. We're going to read a passage on page 73 and 74. It's about a computer whiz, someone who's very good with computers. So a whiz is like this really super geeky guy or person. So he's like a genius in a certain major. So someone who's good with computers, what does it take to get, what does it take to be good with computers? Check, okay? Pick the ideas below, then add 2 more ideas to the list. السؤال هنا, we have some skills before us. In your opinion, Yusuf, which one of these skills would it take to be a computer whiz?
Well, let me see. I think
Okay.
a good memory.
Good memory. Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think a whiz does need good memory. Muhammad, did you have something to say?
Yes, Miss. Being good at computer, you need the special abilities to solve a problem. This is the first one. The second thing, if you didn't enter the college, you have to be patient in the process of learning. To learn, for example, programming or designing, the graphic design.
Wonderful. Yes. That's excellent, Muhammad.
Miss,
Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, Karar?
yes, well, I think that the most important thing from all of this could be the passion and the opportunity to go in this skills or in this work. Yes.
أكيد. You have to have passion in what you do for you to succeed. So that is excellent, Karar. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think we've ticked off patience, good memory. I'm sure creativity comes in. Maybe not on all levels, but sometimes you need to be creative. I'm guessing interest in technical subjects, right? So
Yes.
You have to have interest in them to be good at them, at least, yeah.
yes, an excellent غفران, intelligence. طبعا لازم intelligence. You have to have a brain. Okay. Do you think a computer whiz needs good verbal skills?
No, at all.
And I don't think they need good social skills
No.
either. They'll be a very big loner, but
Introvert
who
person.
knows? Excellent.
Usually they are the opposite.
We have some whizzes among us. We won't mention some names. Okay. لكن كل من طبعا whiz بتخصصه. Okay. Wonderful. I guess we can skip the rest. That was just something quick before we start reading. Okay, reading the passage. ما راح أقدر أشغل لكم الaudio, so I'm going to read it quickly for you guys, and then we're going to ask some names to read for us. Okay, so here we go. A Young Blind Whiz in Computers by Tom Petzinger from the Wall Street Journal. Sometimes a perceived disability turns out to be an asset on the job. Though he is only 18 years old and blind, Suleiman Gokiyat, pronounced Gokiyat, is among the top computer technicians and programmers in Intellidata Technologies Corp, اختصار الcorporation, a large software company with several offices across the United States. After a merger last October, two disparate computer networks were driving us crazy, recalls Douglas Brown, an Intellidata vice president. We couldn't even send emails to each other or email. In 3 weeks, Mr. Gokiyat, a University of Toledo sophomore who works part-time at Intellidata office in the city, created the software needed to integrate the two networks. None of the company's 350 other employees could have done the job in 3 months, says Mr. Brown. Suleiman can literally see into the heart of the computer. Mr. Gokiyat's gift, as Mr. Brown calls it, is an unusual ability to conceptualize the innards of a machine. The computer permits me to reach out into the world and do almost anything I want to do, says Mr. Gokiyat, who is a computer science engineering major with straight A's. Like most blind people who work with computers, Mr. Gokiyat uses a voice synthesizer that reads the video display on his monitor in a mechanical voice. Devices that produce braille screen displays are also available, but Mr. Gokiyat says they waste time. Instead, he depends on memory. Turning the synthesizer to top speed, he remembers almost everything he hears, at least until a project is completed. While the synthesizer talks, Mr. Gokiyat mentally maps the computer screen with numbered coordinates, such as 3 across, 2 down, and memorizes the location of each icon on the grid, so he can call up files with his mouse. The young programmer is also at home with hardware, thanks partly to a highly developed sense of touch. Mitzi Nowakowski, an office manager at Intellidata, recalls how he easily disconnected and reconnected their computer system during a move last year. Through feel, Suleiman can locate connectors, pins, and wires much faster than most other people with sight, she says. Mr. Gokiyat was born in Turkey, where at age 2 he developed an eye condition that left him blind. His parents brought him to the Mayo Clinic in the US, but nothing could be done. His doctors kept emphasizing, never shelter him or pity him, recalls his father Hassan. Today, Mr. Gokiyat's co-workers call him Suleiman the Magnificent. after the 16th century Turkish Sultan who greatly expanded the Ottoman Empire. Several months ago, on a trip to San Francisco, Mr. Brown had difficulty accessing the company's mainframe using his laptop. He needed specific numbers to get into 4 interdelete data files. Instead of asking someone to manually search a thick logo book of computer addresses, he called Mr. Gokir, who had committed the logo book to memory, and produced the proper numbers in 10 seconds, Mr. Brown says. Much of the student's programmer's speed comes from his ability to block out distraction while at the computer. When typing, he listens intently, to the synthesizer. His long thin fingers fly over the keyboard. Nothing seems to shake his concentration, says Mr. Nowakowski, his immediate boss. Mr. Gokir is the only company employee on call 24 hours a day. We consider him our top troubleshooter, says Mr. Brown. Okay, so basically a story talks about Sulaiman, and he's a student or a blind student at one of the top universities, and he has this ability with computers and his excellent memory and to memorize the different algorithms or whatever they use, and he's able to help out his company a lot. So I'm sure you've come across some new words, some new terminology. So we're going to read over, and I'm going to ask you about some of the words. If you don't know their meaning, then always try to use the context or context clues to guess the meaning. Okay? Let's start off with Shahad Ali. Okay, Shahad, you will read for us the first paragraph.
Okay, merci.
Okay, go ahead, Shahad.
Sometimes perceived disability turns out to be an asset on the job. Though he's only 18 years old and blind, Sulaiman Gokiet, is among the top computer technicians and programmer at Intelidata Technologies Corp, a large software company with several offices across the United States.
Excellent, Shahad. So Shahad, what is meant by blind?
Blind, the person who can't see.
Excellent, a person who can't see. Programmer?
Person who deal with
with programs.
With programs, yeah.
Yeah, so a programmer is like exactly a person who develops or fixes or whatever. Yeah, he deals with software and programs and the like. Thank you very much, Shahad. Wonderful.
Thank you,
excellent. Maytham?
Yes.
Hello, Maytham.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
After a merger last October, 2 disparate computers networks were driving us crazy, recalls Douglas Brown, an Intel Data Vice President. We couldn't even send email to each other. In 3 weeks, Mr. Gilgi at University of Toledo, sophomore who works part-time at Intel Data's office in the city, created the software needed to integrate the 2 networks. None of the company's 350 other employees could have done the job in 3 months. Says Mr. Brown, Sulaiman can literally see into the heart of the computer.
Excellent, Maytham. Okay, I'm going to ask you about a few words. So here we go. Maytham, what is meant by driving us crazy?
Driving us, maybe it's a big problem that they didn't have the solve to it or a solution.
Yes, but just give me the meaning of the concept. يعني what does it mean when I say someone is driving me crazy or something is driving me crazy؟ يعني بالعربي شو نقول؟
يعني فقد، يعني مثل اللي فقد، يعني شلون والله نقول.
والجماعة دا يغششوك بالشات.
اي هو خبرني بس
يعني يقودنا للجنون بالضبط. Okay. Okay, that's excellent, Maitham. There's another one. Who was the other one? Literally.
literally means يعني انه صدق، يعني شيء اختصاص. I don't know in English بس يعني شيء
بالعربي يلا literally يعني حرفيا. ممتاز. أقول لكم أنتوا ليش تغششوا؟ ما أقبل بعد تكتبون بالدردشة. Okay. Thank you, Maitham. So literally يعني means word by word. Okay. So when I say something literally, it means I really mean it. يعني word by word. بالعربي إحنا نقول حرفيا. ممتاز. Thank you very much, Maitham. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, let's listen to Mustafa Mahdi.
Yes, miss.
Okay, paragraph.
Sorry. Mr. Googie's gift. Is there an echo?
Yes, اسمه echo. أنت فاتح من جهازين؟
No, just a minute, please.
Okay.
Sorry for making you wait.
I think that's better. أنا راح أطفي المايك مالتي حتى أنت براحتك. خاف الإيكو من عندي.
لا, it was from my side. Mr. Googie's gift, as Mr. Brown calls it, is an unusual ability to conceptualize the innards of a machine. The computer permits me to reach out into the world and do almost everything I want to do, says Mr. Googie, who is a computer science engineering major with straight A's, like most blind people who...
Okay, that's it, Mustafa. Thank you, excellent, wonderful. So what do we mean by unusual?
غير اعتيادي.
In English, it means?
It means something strange or something new.
Strange, untypical, excellent. Conceptualize.
It means to imagine or to draw everything in mind, like.
Excellent. طبعا from the word conceptualize, which means exactly to draw something in your mind or have a picture of it in your mind. Wonderful. Okay. Straight A's. What do we mean by straight A's?
I don't know actually.
Really?
No, I don't know.
Okay. من هنا عندنا straight A's. ياهو من طلابنا ياخذ straight A's.
مصطفى مهدي. مصطفى عبد الأمير أكيد.
Excellent شهد. يعني full marks. طبعا هناك أو يعني most countries or most educational systems ياخذون بهذا النظام اللي هو ال A plus, A minus, ال B plus, B minus. فأنت لا يقول عليك straight A's فأنت هذا هو مفول مثل مصطفى. يعني عندك بونس زايد. Okay. Means yes, exactly as Shahad stated in the chat room. It means full marks. Wonderful. A nerdy person who studies 24 hours. Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Mustafa. طبعا Mustafa Mehdi, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. طبعا you are one of my favorite students this term, Mustafa. You have really stepped up and I'm really proud of you. So thank you, Mustafa.
Thank you, miss. Thank you.
Okay, Haidar, next. Also one of our straight A students, Haidar.
Yes.
طبعا العين كلها على مصطفى وما حد يحسد حيدر. يلا حيدر.
Okay. Like most blind people who work with computers, Mr. Gokiet uses a voice synthesizer that reads the video display on his monitor in a mechanical voice. Devices that produce braille screen displays are also available, but Mr. Gokiet says they waste time. Instead, he depends on memory, turning the synthesizer to top speed, remembers almost everything he hears, at least until a project is completed. While the synthesizer talks, Mr. Gokiet mentally maps the computer screen with numbered coordinates, such as 3 cross, 2 down, and memorizes the location of each icon on the grid, so he can call up files with his mouse.
Excellent, Haidar. Wonderful. So, Haidar, what is meant by synthesizer?
Actually, synthesizer is something that make things mix up, but here it's a special machine that talks and give you voice, so you can hear the things that are being displayed on the monitor.
Excellent, excellent, wonderful, Haidar. So exactly. So a synthesizer is like a kind of app or a machine that turns written language into spoken language. And there's different types of synthesizers, but this one specifically is a voice synthesizer because obviously Mr. Gokiet can't see. Wonderful. Braille. شنو نقصد بالبراille؟
Braille, that's a special system for the blind people, so they can touch things and they use it to read books or use computers.
Excellent, Haidar. طبعا ما أعرف إذا شايفين البراille language. It's so fascinating يعني. There's like small
their
dots.
books.
شايفة حيدر؟
Yeah.
It's يعني really amazing. I remember trying to learn Braille, but it failed. So it takes a lot of يعني it takes time and effort, and I'm guessing people who can't see, this is their basic form of language يعني in terms of reading or written language. So they read through Braille. عادة ما تكون هي هيك نقاط، أعتقد نقاط أو يعني على الصفحة لكن you know they pop up so they can touch it with their fingers, right, Haidar?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Okay. Memorize.
Put things in your memory without checking things.
يعني إحنا بالعربي شو نقول؟
يخليه بالذاكرة يحفظهم.
Okay. سجاج مو صحيح؟
Actually, I think it has to do more with the power of reason and the intellect, not reading and going through things over and over.
Excellent, excellent.
لا
And
تطرد
of
عين، لا
course,
تطرد عين،
يعني
ما يفيد.
a person who's good at memorizing احنا نسميه سجاج, but here يعني it's totally different as Haidar said.
No, I think Sachach means the guy that studies 24 hours, no matter if he's really intellectual.
Oh, بعد أنا معلومتي غلط. أنا كنت عبالي سجاج معناها اللي.
No, Sachach اللي يقرأ 24 ساعة.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, this is really embarrassing, but let's move on. Okay. Thank you, Haidar. Wonderful, excellent reading. Let's move on to the following paragraph. We'll listen to Raisan.
Yes, Mrs. Good morning.
Good morning.
The good programmer is also at home with hardware, thanks partly to a high developed sense of touch. متزن ناوسكي.
هاي انت لا تتابع افلام معروف ذني الانيميشن الصينيه معروف اليابانيه تعرف شلون تلفظ هاي الكلمه.
Okay.
يعني
manager at Intelidate recalls how he easily disconnect and reconnect their computer system during a move last year. Rofil Suleiman can locate computers paying at wires much faster than most other people with sight, she says.
Excellent. كلمة hardware.
Hardware أجهزة الكمبيوتر يعني العقل مالت
احنا عندنا
الكمبيوتر؟
طبعا الهاردوير والسوفت وير. اعتقد انتم دارسين مادة
يعني الذاكرات هاي داخل الكمبيوتر.
لا مو نوع الذاكرة، شو نسميها؟
العقل؟
العقل؟ نو انتم ما اعرف دارسين مادة الحاسوب فهاي تمرون بيها. اكو يعني الهارد ما يعرف بالهاردوير واكو السوفت وير. الملموسة؟
صحيح الملموسة يصيحوا لها.
اوكي.
هي بالعادة تترجم سوفت وير هاردوير حالها حال عربي لأن ما أدري، هذا اللي ماشي عندنا احنا.
اوكي نعم wonderful thank you اوكي طبعا disconnected و reconnected ريسان.
متعلقة بالاتصال، يعني انه يفصل الاتصال وإعادة الاتصال.
هاي تدارخيها شو وقت الانترنت يكنك وش وقت يفصل، فهاي يعني احنا disconnected and reconnected. Okay that's it. Thank you ريسان. wonderful excellent. بنين حمودي.
Yes, Professor, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, Mr. Gogis was born in Turkey, where at the age he developed an eye condition that he left him blind. His parents brought him to the Mayo Clinic in the US, but nothing could be done. His doctors kept emphasizing, never shelter him or pity him. Recalls his father Hassan today, Mr. Goki co-workers call him Suleiman the Great, after the 16th century Turkish sultan who greatly expanded the Ottoman Empire.
Excellent, wonderful, Benin. What do we mean by emphasizing?
They made sure that they could not do anything for him.
يعني بمعنى آخر stressing. Excellent. Okay, pity.
Feel sorry for him.
Wonderful, excellent. اللي هي الشفقة. Magnificent.
Like something great or yeah.
Super great. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you very much, Benin.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's move on. Dan.
Yes. Several months ago, on a trip to San Francisco, Mr. Brown had difficulty accessing the company's mainframe using his laptop. He needed specific numbers to get into until data files. Instead of asking someone to manually search a thick logbook of computer addresses, he called Mr. I'm sorry, what was his name pronounced?
Gokiet,
who had committed the logbook to memory and produced the proper numbers in 10 seconds, Mr. Brown says.
Excellent, wonderful, Dan. So accessing?
It means like you have access to something. عندك صلاحية إنه تدخل شيء.
Okay, wonderful. So you have a certain ability to get to something quickly. So you have access. Wonderful. Manually. What do we mean when we do something manually?
Manual, like you have to search by hand, I think.
Excellent. Hand has to, yes. So you do something with your own hands manually to do something manually. Commitment or committed. Sorry, this is, no, it's not commitment. Committed. It's a verb.
I think here it comes like, depending on the context, it comes as kind of he memorized it. I'm not really sure.
Yes, that's wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, طبعا committed is from the word commitment, but here it takes on a different meaning because if we look at the context, it says that he had committed the the logbook to memory. So it means that he has probably memorized it by heart. Wonderful, Dan. طبعا the logbook is like an address book, but it's specialized with computers. So memorizing something like that by heart is definitely an ability. So wonderful. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Karar, our last
Sorry,
paragraph.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, before we move on to Karar, yes, Haidar.
Sorry. Did you say memorize it by heart?
Yes, did I say something wrong?
No, sorry. Just the term, I thought it's the same as the Arabic. I thought that, yeah, it's
فتوفيش
one.
بالعربي احنا شو نقول؟
حفظها عن ظهر قلب.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Haidar. Okay, Karar, the last paragraph.
Yes. Much of the student's programmer's speed comes from his ability to block out distractions while at the computer. When typing, he listens intently to the synthesizer. His long, thin fingers fly over the keyboard. Nothing seems to shake his concentration, says Mrs. Nausowski. His immediate boss.
Nowakowski. كل شيء ولا تدخل
Naukowski. Yes, it's difficult to pronounce. Okay. Mrs. Naukowski, his immediate boss. Mr. Gokiet is the only company employee on call 24 hours a day. We consider him our top troubleshooter, says Mr. Brown. That's good.
Excellent, Karar. Okay, Karar. What does it mean to block out?